One of the things about Josh and his team is this indelible characteristic that I found over the 8 or so years that we have partnered together, and that is their passion for storytelling and their passion for justice. They're really practicing humanists, and it's been a real joy to work with all of you. So while we celebrate you, I'm sure some of those of us in the audience have some questions about this film and how you came to find the story. And this is directed at you, Josh. And what motivated you to pick this story as the 25th film?
Well, we actually found this story in a newspaper article about Mac, and when I read the article, I was sort of blown away because at the time, I was maybe like many of you feeling depressed about our world and where we are as a society. And when I read this story and read about this seemingly impossible bridge that was built between these two people, I just said that everyone needs to know about this because it's a story of hope. And if these two people can be standing on a stage together, can be friends, then perhaps anything is possible. And that's what I loved about this story.
Thank you, Josh. I'd also add that my observation is that you have built trust with the Muslim community to tell our stories. And that's a really important component of who you are and who your team is. So I thank you for that. I'm still not going to let you go, Mac. Richard, I have a question for you, which is this. First of all, we applaud you for your courage to allow Josh to tell your story. Thank you. But also, I'm curious about what your initial thoughts were when Josh came to you and said he wanted to tell your story, and then what was it like that first meeting when you met with Josh and the team?
First of all, I want to say, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon each and every one of you, regardless of the color of your skin, the money in your bank account, or your social status. I'm very honored to be here. Very honored to be here. Very honored to be associated with such a wonderful interfaith organization. I know in my learning of Islam, one of the things I learned is that Allah told us, He made us into different nations and tribes so that we may learn from one another. That's what this is. So keep learning and keep teaching, all right? As far as my initial thoughts, the funny thing was I get this email just out of the blue from an organization called Smarty Pants Productions. So I'm like, oh man, I'm getting punked. That's what I thought, right? Well, I looked them up. It's legit. These people want to actually film me. Wow. Because all along, I'm just a guy. I'm not anything special, really not. And initially, we talked. And of course, everybody kind of warned me, hey, watch out. You know, he's not trying to do something shady, or, you know how people get Muslims out and they start to talk about stuff, and then, we just end up looking bad. I said, I got it. Shortly after I started talking to Josh, via Skype, Zoom, almost whatever, I learned that the guy was really interested in getting across a message that Muslims are just people. come from all different walks of life. We have all different kinds of jobs and careers and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, we're just people. And that was really what he was trying to show, that these are regular people. So they have a faith base that's a little different, but they're regular people. They're not out to hurt you. He made me feel very comfortable. And shortly after that, I entrusted in him, the story, because he just made it so easy. He made himself so easy to talk to. Since then, I called Josh a friend. Close with his family, his beautiful wife in the audience today, his children. His one daughter is like my best buddy. It's just adorable people. So there was really no apprehension. At least the little bit that there was went away pretty quickly.
Thank you, Richard. Bibi, I have a question for you, and that is, how has getting this story out into the world, how has it impacted your community in Muncie, Indiana, and how has it impacted your family?
Good evening to all of you. It's so nice to see so many beautiful, handsome faces and varieties. I want blessed and honored and grateful to be standing in front of you, and thank you all for your good work in making a better world. I personally, as Josh mentioned, I was second that was blessed to be born and raised in a family. There was never a stranger in the house. And always had home for homeless, my father, growing up. And then working after 9/11, going through a difficult time, as my child was told, and you can tell in the documentary, take your towel home. And I truly pray about it, and I took it upon myself and my husband to start our own interfaith in our community, to invite all the ministers, that we owe it to our society and community to make a better understanding among humanity and minorities. And doing that, it's totally blessed for the over since 9/11, and then working and making a difference. When this documentary, of course, when Josh contacted me, I'm the current president of Islamic Center, and I also am the founder and president of a nonprofit organization, Awaken, that I just had a dinner, 300 people were present, all walks of life, like what I see here, and I cook Afghani meal for them and do a fundraising for the women and children in Afghanistan. And I would love to have your support. It's Afghan women and kids. It's Awaken short, it's easier to remember. But anyway, just for saying that being part of all that, when he reached out, he wants to do this documentary, I said, wow, this will be great for our little Muncie community and a blessing. And I approved it with the board, and we welcomed him and let him stay in the Islamic Center for a whole week to do his film.
She gave me the keys to the Islamic Center. Seriously.
Yes, I did. I did give him the keys and welcome him. I said, this is during my time. And even I had come back from a coma. It's a long story. I don't want to talk about too much. And I say, even if I die again, this film or this message could live. It was all about the message, nothing about me. But I'm very honored and blessed to announce that how community have shined this, how they're proud of this. The Muslim and non-Muslim community, even if they had fear, we all must have fears. In a minority, I told my American friends that we have more fear than you guys. You have fear from us, we have more fear. We're a minority here. But I think that helped the larger community and the Muslim community to overcome, not to be sensitive, not to be afraid, as a lot of the Muslim community was afraid when he was coming to the Islamic Center. They learned a big from this, as much as we were open-minded and welcoming people to the center. And the larger community is so proud. Oh, that this documentary was nominated for Oscar. It was in Muncie, Indiana. Who would have imagined? Muncie community. And I think that shined it, and everybody's taking a positive message from this and spreading the good to do for shared humanity.
Thank you, Bibi. Thank you. One last question back to you, Josh, and that is, what kind of stories do we anticipate, seeing on the screen from you and your team next?
Sure. Well, there's still more work to do with this film, and we're taking it around the country, around the world. We've done hundreds of screenings, and we're going to do hundreds more with Bibi and Mac by my side. And we're also going to do more films with Secret Life of Muslims, I think, in the near future. So we're going to continue this work. And then one additional film that we're working on is about gun violence and school shootings. And we're beginning work on that in a couple of weeks. So that's the future.
Thank you for all that you do and your passion for telling these important stories. Thank you, Mac. Thank you, Bibi. Congratulations again. Well done.